Show. Yeah. How's everyone doing? All right. I hope everyone's good. And I will be just getting everything streamy, making sure it's all good. And we will see. And hopefully things will be all right. And the stream will go smooth. All looks well here. Just keeping an eye out in the chat room to see if there's any chatties can just confirm all is well their end, and then we will get cracking. So yeah, if you're new to the Gaz Williams show, then welcome. All is welcome. All are welcome. I try to stream on a Wednesday. I because of lots of other things happening, it's been difficult for me to do that, but I do intend to do it more regularly, as I keep saying. However, what I do normally on my show is I look at bits and bobs of music technology that I've got either new to me or stuff I've had for a while, and then just have a little fart around with it. Really, that's how it normally happens. But yeah, I'm always intrigued about music technology. Always have been since quite a young age, and that floats my boat. And I just always enjoy chatting about it. And yeah, so that's the sort of point of this show, I suppose. We've had some great guests over the years, and we'll have more good guests coming too. There's a lot of people who've said they're going to do it. We haven't had time, or our diaries haven't quite synchronized, but yeah. Oh, hello. Hi, Belle. Hi, Jan, in the chat room. So yes, if you're watching this after the fact, I stream on a Wednesday UK time at 8 p.m, and that's my normal time going out. I was on Sonic Talk earlier, so some of you may have seen that. A really good episode, lots and lots of news in the synth world. So check out that, the Sonic Talk podcast, to catch up with all the goings on. Hey Edna and Tanith. Oh, great. Okay, we got everything's good. So let's get into the meat of tonight's show, shall we? So those of you who watched Sonic, I did mention what I was going to be talking about today, which is a couple of things. Let me just go here. Okay, so going to be talking about this little module here called the MFX from ALM. Now, ALM, most famous for the Pamela's new workout module, which I've got in my live rig over there. But they've just now released a new version of the Pamela's new workout, the Pamela's Pro workout, which it's got a much better screen and some other things, but it's more or less it's just an iterative improvement, I suppose. Wow, thanks, Lan. That's Jan. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Hi, Mr. Spoon. Nice to see you there. Madcap Modular, Left Eye Dominant, Berkut, Matt Brown. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. So, why did I want to look at this MFX? Is because I think it is quite an interesting little thing. It's a 6 HP in modular speak, so it's pretty small, and it's got 3 CV inputs, and we'll be looking at them in a moment, and also a clock input here, which I think I will actually patch whilst I'm talking. So the little setup I've got going on here at the moment is this is an IntelliGel palette case, a 62 HP, so 62 HP wide like this, but it's kind of like you got the normal size modules, which are 3U, and then this 1U rack as well, which is I guess IntelliGel have really popularized that format, and what it facilitates is a lot of control in a very, very small little pack. Now, the palette case has also got a couple of active mults built in, so these are multipliers, and I've left this is largely unpatched. I'll just explain the patch, and then that will make sense, hopefully, going forward, what's going on. So, I've got the marbles here, and then I've got the 4MS spherical wavetable navigator, which you can almost think of as 6 separate synth voices. That then flows into the Prism from Qubit. This is a stereo filter with delay and do like kind of comb filtering. It's also got a decimate. It's quite a cool little module. And then into the MFX, which is then coming into this module and out. On the top row here, we've got a mosaic LFO, very simple little LFO, but that'll be really good for showing what the next thing I'm going to explain. And then this is called an Ornaments and Crime. It's a 4 robots version. It's like a open source utility module. It's got some incredible complexity, some really interesting things. Whether we use that tonight, I'm not sure. It's there kind of waiting in the wings. But anyway, the other thing I want to talk a little bit about are these new cables. They're from MyVolts, and this is them just out of the packet. Let's in fact show the packet, because this is these are the MyVolt Halo cables. Okay, and this is a collaboration with Andrew Huang, and this is the long pack. So we've got two 50cm licorice black halos, two 50cm pineapple yellows, and then two 80cm cool grey, and two 80cm marshmallow pink. So these are currently on Kickstarter. I got these. I'm good friends with MyVolts, so go back many years now. So they sent me these. Now, what makes these special is they've got a little LED. They light up to show control voltage. So that's kind of useful. So as we start building up a patch, we'll use these and we can see where they are most useful. Now, they only light up with control voltage. I guess audio doesn't drive them enough for that. So so really, it's using them for showing sort of modulation and the like. Question about what are these yellow? Are these the ones you mean, chunky yellow? I really don't know. I think I can't remember. They might be Erica synth ones. Hey, Rick Alpin in the room. Wagyu. Oh wow, good, nice to see a nice gang there. Okay, now I know I don't always do modular stuff on a Wednesday, but yeah, I think this hopefully should be quite interesting, because this little MFX has got some quite interesting features. And as I say, we'll use these MyVolts cables so we can see these in action as well. Just tucked out of sight here. Yeah, there it is. If you were wondering, there's a cable portal. Yeah, this is the collaboration that Bevan and myself have made, which act as little portals for kind of keeping your patches tidy. So I like sometimes using quite long cables, running them through the cable portal. It gives you a place to feed things through, and then it just helps keep the clutter away from the controls. Anyway, we'll talk more about them. I got another cable here that's quite cool. There's another one from MyVolts in the Candy Cables range, and this is a little two-ended one, but with a with a kind of coil there. And just out of we can see this one in action here actually. So when you need to send two cables from, it's kind of neat. Works really nicely. Yeah, I did say I'm good friends with MyVolts, so this isn't in any way paid content, although in all fairness, as a disclosure, they did send me these cables, so yeah, just to get that out of the way. Madcap Modular is trying to tell me that it's really called a cable sausage. Yes, I've heard that mentioned. I don't mind. If you want to call them cable sausage, that's absolutely fine by me. It's the sort of thing I would do to call other people's cable poles cable sausages. Let's hear the music, says DJ Doolittle. Yeah, hang on a minute. It's going to take a while because we're going to have to patch this bad boy up. Bad boy, bad person, bad modules. And okay, so right, I'm just remembering the color. So with a lot of these modules, like this one is a really quite a sophisticated module. There's a lot to remember with it in terms of all the different modes it can operate in. Anyway, but let's keep this simple for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just start with just getting a drone on the go here. Let's just reset this. I need to put this into this just basic drone mode. Here we go. Right. Okay. Right. So that'll just drone. So if I change this mode actually on here to like a CV mode, then I can trigger it. Okay, that'll be good. So let's come back now to the MFX. So I can just trigger. That's going through our little let's bypass. So bypass, press the back button and press. Oh yeah, oops, yeah, that way around. That's the way around. Hold down the back button and click the encoder. So the MFX is currently bypassed, and now I can trigger. Let's just put that in the middle of the stereo. Okay, so super simple. That's what we'll just use for now, just so I can fire some things into the MFX to have some fun with it. Okay, and now we can start having a little look. So by just using this kind of fairly non-entity of the sound, it'll enable us to hear some of the effects. So MFX, standing for multi-effects, I guess. In the most, these are all, well, I think all of them more or less are single effects, as opposed to being able to stack effects on top of each other. And it's also some utilities. Actually, let's start at utilities. So we can go into the utilities, and we've got a tuner. So if I got this thing droning, or if I tap it quick enough, no, I think I'd need to get it droning. So let's just get it droning for now. Okay. So we can see we've got a C. I don't know, maybe it's a bit too small to see, but so being able to have a tuner is quite useful. This not so much, because this one will be being a digital module. We don't need to tune the oscillators. However, we will do a little experiment. In fact, let's do that experiment now. What I'm going to do is, I'm curious, before I go any further, with these candy cable halos, I'm curious to see if there's any pitch drop, because although saying that, will this work? I need to, I'll come back to that, but I want to find out if, because they obviously take a little bit of voltage out in order to light up. Let's take that out for now. Look, actually, yeah, let's just do this for now then. So, in fact, I think my LFO will be a better way to demonstrate this. Let's put the output of the LFO in, and then we can see the action. Let's get that in focus. That's my rate here. So let's increase the rate of the LFO. But also, this LFO at the moment is running in a unipolar mode, meaning from 0 and up and back to 0. But we can put it into a bipolar mode, which goes from 0 to 5 and then down to -5. And then the candy cable will change its color. Now, one of the things when you get, if you buy this pack of cables, then the pre-packed one, you get different ones that can do different things. So if I was to plug this one in, green, and then I think it'll red when it's showing negative voltage. I thought it was going to go from red to green, but okay. But it's certainly super useful to have this extra visual information. Right, so this basic patch then, I'm going to patch this little LFO into the little mult here. So this little LFO now is sending its output here, and I can route that LFO out for four places. Oh, I'm just going to reach for something as well. Yeah, one of the things that's nice about these cables is they don't use up obviously any HP in order to do it. And speaking of HP, this is a no HP module. It's as in you don't actually stick it in your rack. From our friend Tonal Axis, and this is Axis Modular, and this little thing is it's a little attenuator. And you can use it with a mini jack in and out and attenuate, so just two passive attenuators, or it also can work as a kind of jack to mini jack converter with attenuator. So super useful little gadget that is. We'll use that in a bit. Now, Wagyu is saying that they don't. Oh, sorry, they don't take voltage, they take current. Thank you, Di, for clarifying that. Wagyu, I asked Analog Solutions about this when they released their light-up cables. They said that the voltage taken from the signal was too negligible to notice. Okay, that's cool. So we'll investigate that. We'll investigate that. Now, I'm getting a little bit confused here of what I'm trying to do, because I want to build up a patch, but also explain what I'm doing. So, okay. Right. So we're gonna just listen to some of these MFXs before we build that patch. Yeah, so it's just showing, you've got a tuner there, as well as a tuner. We've now, in the new update, we've got a test tone. Holy moly, I'm so sorry about that. It was in bypass, so you can at least bypass the test tone. But having a test tone is kind of handy, isn't it? You know, and also we get a scope as well. Test tone tuner. Oh, and a clock meter as well. Yay! Now, actually, this is pretty cool. With the clock meter, let's put that to the test. So, coming out of the marbles, you've got like 3 gate outputs. The middle gate output is just doing a constant gate. So that really works like a clock out. You can clock the marbles to an external clock. But in this particular setup, I'm using marbles as the clock. So the clock is coming out here, and it's coming into the first of the little mults, and then that can send its clock to different places. Like, in fact, at the moment, I've just got it routed, sending its clock into here. But we'll probably want to send that clock out as well into the MFX, into the clock input. So we'll just pop that in. Okay. So now I should really have zoomed in here, shouldn't I? But yeah, I can see the clock is my BPM. I can see what the clock is in BPM. So that's kind of useful because I've got no indicator on the marbles at all other than a flashing light. So so a bunch of utilities in this little MFX, kind of useful stuff, really. Yeah. So oh yeah, look, and a wet dry mix. Yes. So I think that means if we took that off, you could just use it as a wet effect. I think that's what that's for. So if you'd use it on an auxiliary send. Okay, so there's our thing. So a little back button then takes us back to the effects select. So, okay, so we'll just speed through what the effects we've got in here, then we'll listen to a few different ones. Digi PCM echo, Tape Tech echo, Crumbler echo, it's like a granular echo, Ursa minor echo verb, so based on the Ursa major. I don't really know much about that. I know it's kind of mythical. I remember Thibault Sandra telling me about it years ago. I think he might have had one, or was looking for one. And then, okay, Pocket PL8 reverb. I think some of these reverbs, right, this isn't like a kind of Valhalla or a Black Hole. It's not like a super sumptuous reverb. In fact, it kind of specializes in copying some sort of cheap reverbs. Like, for instance, Quadro reverb there is a emulation of the old Alesis quad reverb. Almicon reverb. I need probably, let me see if I can get the manual up and just to remind myself what these are meant to be. Because yeah, these Yeti reverb. Now this is a new one, and the Yeti reverb, it gives us an extra parameter. It gives us a pitch shifter as well. So it's like a reverb and pitch shifter. So I guess you could do your shimmer verbs with it. Then we got TH30 distortion, and like if we were to go into that one, for instance, type, the range would go from soft, saturate, overdrive, digital, wavefold, nuclear. Okay, so again, we'll come back to these. I'm just going to go flick through things quickly. Oh yeah, actually, whilst we're in that, like a tilt filter, turn that on, and then you get one of these like filters. Oh, can you see that there? Whereas I rotate this, you've got, oops, you've got like a high pass, low pass kind of combined tilt filter. I think that's quite nice for distortion especially. And then we got a compressor and a new input. I think the new update for this actually gives us side chain. It's got actual meters there with gain reduction and output as meters. And this is a tiny little screen, but it's actually it's clearer to me than the PAMs. I'm sorry, I should have probably set up a closer camera on this one. Okay, transient shaper, and then the 2051 bit corruptor. So, you know, bit depth reduction and the like. Modulating panner, a ring modulator, and a frequency modulator as well. So one or either ring mod or frequency shift. And ensemble, and then this one's got different modes. So for instance, Juno 1, Juno 2, Juno 2 and 1, as all buttons in, as we all know. RS1, RS2, I'm guessing that's the Roland ones, and Selena, and then we've got wide 2. So within these different algorithms, then there are a bunch of different other ones. Multi-phaser, let's go back, let's have a look at that one. Multi-phaser, depth, mod rate, feedback, oh, and then stages, whether it's mono or stereo, the spread, and the mix level. Okay, let's start listening to some of these then. So there's a pretty comprehensive amount of effects within here, and then within each algorithm, or most algorithms, various other ones as well. So let's set this now. Let's set this one back to what I'm doing here is I'm changing the ways that these are that you interact with each of these channels. Just a quick note on the 4MS. If you hold down one of the channel buttons and change something, then you can just change it to just itself. But if you just change something, like if I was to change like the wavetable, it'll change the wavetable to from all of them, which are all starting currently from the same place in the wavetable. But you can actually have each one of these as a different wavetable. So when you change this, it'll just change all of its relative places. Anyway, I'm just talking and then I'm just not making any sound. So let's start making some sound. Right. So I've set this up now. So I can just trigger it, and then that'll help me then. Right, reverb, delay. Let's unbypass it. Dual tap, stereo tap, ping pong. Not quite sure what the difference between ping pong and stereo tap is. And then one with external feedback. So yeah, I won't dwell too much on that one. That's pretty standard. Same with the tape echo sort of thing. Oh yes, so now we get tape age and a pitch shift as well. Let's turn the tape age up. You can hear a noise coming in now with the tape age. Feedback, let's crank the feedback up. And let's all see, what else have we got? Wow and flutter. There we go. Let's give it some pitch shift. Like a minor third. It's quite grainy, isn't it? I got the pitch destination out to the feedback, yeah. So what can we do that? We can also set that to the input. Yeah, and the CV inputs. Yeah, let's get something good going on first, then we'll start playing with the CV inputs. Loop. Oh yeah, so yeah, right, okay. So the loop, it'll just kind of lock the delay loop. And when I first started playing around with this, I couldn't work out how to do any CV mapping. And what you just do is, as you go up through the values, all the way to the left, you get your CV points. So any particular thing, like say mix, if I scroll it all the way to the left, then it goes CV3, CV2, CV1. Okay. Sorry, I'm not showing this very well, am I? So I'll leave that on 50% for now, although... God, let me just give this a bit more volume. Actually, I'll crank the mix up a little bit. I have degraded it quite a lot here, haven't I? Tape age. Let's make the tape younger. Okay. All right. So if we modulate this, we can get some kind of crazy stuff going on. So let's do that then. Let's try a little modulation. So I'm going to take one of these LFO outputs and chuck it into CV1. Now this is what's quite cool with this. So let's have that change the delay time. Yeah. So this is that thing now. So I'll select it and I'll just whiz it left. Oh yeah, there is an accelerator. Yeah, and choose CV1. Now we can see the CV action coming in on here. Well, I should be using. Let's. I'm going to repatch that, but using one of these candy cables. Although, because we're getting a little indicator on the screen here, it may be less important with the candy cable, but a halo. But we'll do it anyway. Yeah, I mean, they're not very bright, these the halos, but I don't think they need to be particularly. I mean, you can see it clear enough, so I suppose it really isn't going to be borrowing too much current. Right, let's have a look now. So. Let's try and clean this up a little bit. Tape age, wow and flutter, let's take that off. Let's just try and do it. Oh yeah. So that speed then, if I go to the speed, the delay time rather, and it's saying CV1, and if I long press on here now, it takes me to a little menu which has got a few pages in it, 2 pages, yeah, basically offset and attenuation. So I could make that CV have less strength. Haha. This LFO lets me change the wave shape, so if I take it all the way to the right, I think it's like a square wave. So then it doesn't really make a lot of sense anyway. totally, yeah. Okay, and then I could use the offset as well. Oops. Now. Wow. Oops, I've lost the sound. Let's just let's come back out of here, back. So on my mix. Okay, now here's a cool thing. So I'm feeding that CV in there into CV1. But now I think this is actually kind of cool. If I was to then go to another parameter, say wow and flutter, now and scroll out to the left, I can go to CV1 as well, and therefore I can have CV1 affecting multiple parameters. And if I long press on it, I get a separate set of controls for how much that CV strength is going to affect it. So let's turn that down. So you can see that even though you've only got like 3 CV inputs, the fact that each parameter could be modulated by the same CV input at different strengths makes it quite well, packs a lot of functionality into a little module. Okay, so we're just having a little flick through some other Crumbular echo. Okay, so this one is, let's select it. It's like a granular. Let's have a look. So what we got here, we've got time, spray. Yeah, so the spray is like, I think how wide the grains are sort of sprayed. Density, size, the grain size, I'm guessing, variance, mode, let's go stereo, why not? Okay, let's crank the feedback up. Feedback goes up to 111 for some reason. Okay, so let's have a little look what happens if we modulate some of these parameters then. So we've got a high cut, how much fun that will be. Can I have a go? CV1. Long press takes me into this attenuator, and actually the offset might be quite useful in this case. Okay, let's find another parameter to change. The pitch or variance. There isn't pitch. I think there used to be pitch. I should confess, literally just before I started streaming, I had a little look on the ALM website, and there was an update on here that's added a couple of extra effects. In fact, it's now got the phaser and the pitch reverb. That's new. Variance, let's try that. CV1 to variance, slow it down. We can see there the speed of that LFO coming in, but also You can see the speed of the LFO coming in as well off our cable. Nice. Right. Make the LFO go really fast. Let's have a look. What else can we do? Time. Yeah, why not? So spin that to the left. Oh, I see. So actually, if you spin too fast, if you want to cover big distances, you do kind of slow. You can cover quite a lot of ground. Oops. If you do sort of. It's all right. It feels all right. It's funny that's the thing about, you know, acceleration, knob acceleration. So that sounds a bit strong there. So let's attenuate that. What's the offset do to it? I had the LFO going way fast then. I mean, there's no denying the digital nature of the MFX. Let's modulate a little bit more while we can. Spray. Let's do it. Oh yeah, density. Let's do density. So, density isn't letting me do it. Or maybe have I reached the amount? Oh no, density wasn't letting me CV control for some reason. Oh, the density. I turned it down. It sounded like a right old mess. A lot of stuff going on in the sound now, though. Black Knight says is always worried that LED cables might transmit noise. Let's have a look. Let's see if they do. I wonder what's the best way. Okay, well, I'm going to move on from this crumbular echo. Okay, Ursa minor echo verb. Let's select that. So it's all right. So it's two modes: reverb or echo. So I guess let's have a listen to this reverb. Oh yeah, so the reverb we got room A, B, C, D, X, Y, echo 1, 2, 3, 4, fatty, cloud, slap 1, slap 2, comb A, B, F. Okay, so quite a lot of different what they call programs here. It's calling it. Let's crank the mix up. Just make a bit more harmonically rich sound to work with. So I'm not really sure what this unit is fabled for. Oh, it's a nice bit of modulation in there though, isn't there? Has got a nice character to it. Okay, let's just back the mix down a bit. So our parameters here then. Oh yeah, we could listen to different. That's room A, room B, room C. I think I need some music. I need to make something more tuneful than just this note. Right, so what I'll do here then is I'm going to take let's take one of our nice candy cables. Cool grey. So marbles, then this module here this is quite an interesting one. It's a random sampler, it's called, and that's slightly misleading. You know, it doesn't sample audio. It's sampling voltage, and then when it samples voltage, if these buttons are lit, then it'll actually store that voltage, like a looper. Really, these are like locking down a loop, and then we can choose. And it'll be at clock counts, and you can have up to 16 steps. So let's see, if I take this out of X1, and I'm going to put this into channel 1 here. Okay, is it making sound? Okay. Let's just load a preset in. I think I've just... Okay. Let's put this in. Just going to pitch it up a bit. Okay, I can pitch quantize here, or I can take the pitch quantizing off. So we'll slide to the notes. But the pitch quantizing is coming from this steps control here, but I can actually pitch quantize from this thing as well. So I press down on here. A few different scales. So I'm just rotating, moving through the wavetable. So as I'm doing this now, we'll have a listen to some of these different rooms. Let's go back to room A. B. C. So they're all the same length. It just sounds like there's different. Difficult to describe. I'm not sure these echoes work in this mode properly. I'll leave it on room Y for a moment. Feedback. Yeah, I wonder which one of these. Yeah, let's try modulating the high cut. So Some drone. Okay. Now, see what else we can modulate. Oh, we could any of these, I guess. Feedback. So, yeah. So with the marbles, we can hear it's just repeating 6 steps. Make it just 1 step, 2 steps. So set with those 2 steps, if I change the bias, yeah, so the bias is kind of choosing where, like where the lowest note is, and then the spread. Like if I move the spread all the way to the left, then it's not allowing the waveform to do anything, so you get a constant note. So as I move the bias, then it'll pitch it up. This allows us, anyway, to hear the pitch quantizing that's going on this thing. Melodic minor, is it? Harmonic minor. Harmonic minor. So if I just adjusted the bias, it's like we play melodies. So here, I could take my candy cable, take it out of the LFO, and plug it into the bias. Oops, an LFO, not clock. Now, I can't really change the strength of that, so we will bring in this little thing to act as an attenuator. Let's just pop that in. So attenuate it totally. We'll just get that one note and let it a little bit through. It's quite nice. I'll just hang out of shot a little bit. Now, let's get a little bit more action going on. So 2 voices we're hearing at the moment, one voice droning and then the other got a bit manic. Okay, so I'm going to come out of that LFO and I'm going to come in. And I'll use a candy cable. to come out of this. So it's the same LFO coming through a different channel. This attenuator. So let's take this into the spread. It's interesting. If I look on here, this attenuator, it's we can't see any LED unless I let a lot of the signal through. It's starting to come through, starting to light up. Okay. So we got that little thing going on there, a little tune of a sort. Now, the deja vu knob on here, what this does is when it's set at 12 o'clock, then it's repeating back those, in this case, it's only 2 notes, but because of all the modulation going on, it sounds like a lot more. But if I move the deja vu knob to the right, then we'll hear more randomness coming in. And if I take it all the way to the right, we won't hear any repeats, it'll all be random. Put it back to 12 o'clock. It's quite nice because you've got something going on that's kind of constant, but all this other modulation is kind of messing around with it. Nice. Now, I think it'd be nice to be modulating the wavetable as well. I guess in the simplest sense, I could just again, I'm not attenuating this. This is the master attenuator of the LFO. So it'll affect all of those LFO outputs. Oh, that's quite interesting. Wavetable spread I just plugged into, and you can hear now it's moved the wavetables on. Wasn't sure if these act as a... I seem to think that they act as attenuators. No. I don't think so. Okay. So let's go back. So we're still listening to that Ursa minor. Let's try a different effect. This Yeti reverb. This is new, so I want to try this out. Oh yeah, incidentally, I think when you change an effect, if I go back, say if I was to go back to my Ursa minor, yeah, it remembers all the settings, so we'll be able to see our CV set, all our settings. So each algorithm then, if you adjust it, that's what the settings will be when you return to it. But there are presets, you can store presets in it as well. Let's back to this Yeti reverb then. Two octaves. That's the maximum shift. Let's set our CVs to it. Let's set CV1. Okay. Long press. Let's see what the offset does. And let's attenuate it. Haha. Offset it. Starting to sound more and more like my belly. Just drop it all down an octave. Take it down another octave. So the sound before it gets to the MFX is actually going through the prism, so we have got a filter. You can hear a bit of, there's a clipping going on. We do have you'd have to pull one of these out, I think. There are, see little LED lights there, so there is clip lights for the outputs, which is always helpful. Let's turn that mix down a bit. And this prism also does have a delay. If I plenty of modulatables on this thing. Slowing that LFO down. Bring some more channels in. Let's take them up. Okay. Let's try and get this back to some form of normality, if such a thing exists. the length of this thing now. And remember, I've got my little attenuators here as well. So what I'm going to do here, take this pitch out here, and if I put it into here, into the transpose, it'll act as a kind of global transpose over all the tracks. Okay, here we go. Oh yes, come on everybody, take your dancing partner by the hand, come and do some very strange jigging. Psychedelic spasm dancing. Master tempo. You see, lurking, waiting in the wings is the ornament in crime, saying, don't forget about me, I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You think that's crazy? Wait till I get going. That's what it's saying. Okay, let's try a different effect. Distortion. Yeah. Although, it might be quite nice to swap the order of these around. I can't be bothered doing that now, but to have the distortion before the filter. Okay. Okay. If I turn the pitch quantizing off, slow it down, let it really go. Okay. Let's reduce the spread. Speed it up a little bit. Try a different mode of this to operate in as well. Okay, so now I'm going to take these out. Let's take them out for now. Okay, so we've just got a chord. I'm just going to load the preset. I'm just going to load one of my starting presets in. Oops, not that one. Oh dear. Sorry about that. All right, okay. That was just... Phew. Sorry about that. All right. This is like the starting... This is like the default. With this in default, we'll just drone. Okay. This is what I wanted to do. Sorry, chatties. There's a lot of chat going on. I don't mean to be ignoring you. Sorry. Wagyu, pretty happening, man. Biddy 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 biddy. Buck, check out these moves. Biddy 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 biddy. Tweaky. Biddy biddy biddy. She's out. Yeah, Buck Rogers. Oh my goodness. Yes. For those of us of a certain age, remember it well. Okay. All right, so I'm back to like, this is like the very first thing you'll ever do if you ever get one of these. It'll probably be this. This is like the first wavetable. So what I'm going to do now, let's just bring these out for a moment. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to bring in this. The Ornaments and Crime. Okay, so what I need to do is patch a clock in. I'm going to patch that into here, and then hopefully, let's have a look now here. Right, now this grid this is very strange. I think, what do they call it now? Neo-Riemann shifts. What on earth does that mean? Well, it's like it'll kind of act like a pitch quantizer, but you can sequence the shifts to what's the best way to describe this? One of the shifts, it might take like a chord and it might move one note. Like, so if it moves like the third from a major to a minor, or from the minor to the major, then that would be, I think that's called the parallel shift, which is denoted by a P. Then, oh my goodness, I probably, hang on. Got to get this up, and then I'll explain this I'm just getting my head around it at the moment. So I'm using, on this iPad, I'm using an app called Modes, which is essentially just an modular information. There's quite a lot of modules covered, only a fraction of the actual modules, but what Modes works for are for modules that have got a lot of functionality beyond what's on sort of immediately in front of you. A number of these have, like Marbles, Ornaments and Crime, and this one. They've all got quite a few functions, that involve holding buttons down and the like. So my good buddy Steve Davis, who I play music with, he's pretty much decided he doesn't like modules that have those abstraction layers. He wants what you see is what you get kind of relationship, and I get that. But in fact, I bought this Ornaments and Crime from Steve. I think he was he wasn't so keen. But a little screensaver on here, and we can see as it's receiving clock, we can kind of see that stuff is happening. Now what's happening is it's moving through this grid, and if I put a little bit of there we go. So I'll have, I don't know if you can see this, a little bit small, but on this grid you can put these changes, and you can make the square move across this grid in all sorts of different ways. And every time that square lands on one of the letters, I don't know if you can see it, there's like kind of asterisks and there's letters, and we can actually see we can see the path it's taken across the grid in this kind of screensaver here. And then what's going on here is it's showing what the note relations relationships are. Okay. Oh gosh, I'll probably have to kind of come back to this one. The reason I'm doing this is so I can, like, so this basic drone here, I want to essentially automate the transpose knob. So as I change this transpose knob, you can hear it's doing different things, changing the pitch there. So what I want to do is I want to automate that, and I'm going to automate it with this kind of path. So I'm going to just take a signal out from there and plug it into the transpose. Now if I bring in some more voices, and I'm going to use pitch, I'm going to pitch quantize, and I'm going to harmonize these. Take some filter off the top end there. Let's bring in some more voices. And it's following the rate here, so if I speed this up, I don't want it to do too fast. Now, if I go back to the editing of here, I'm just going to have this just move up and down. Not that one. I'm just going to have it move up and parallel L, whatever that stands for. Let me have a look on here. Okay. All 6 voices now. Now all of these voices are in the same place on the wavetable, but I could spread them out. Across different wavetables. This dial lights up in lots of different colours. It's kind of useful, it does tell you quite a lot about what's going on. I won't go into it now. Right, so these different modes. So again, it's coming from this mode is called Automatonets. And it uses these neo-Riemannian transformations. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about with these different transformations. I'm just looking at what the different ones are. What the different transformations do. Hopefully the manual will tell me. Oh yeah. So an S would be a slide. Example, a C major to a C sharp minor. Oh, okay, so yeah. Hexatonic, an example would be, that's an H, a C major to an A minor. Okay, so that would change the chord from whatever it is to its relative minor. That's an H. N, a Nebenverwandt. An example is a C major changing to an F minor. Okay, so those different ones Right, let's put an N. See if we can make this make sense. Okay, I'll get this moving. Right, so at the moment now, oh, sorry, I should have this zoomed in better. This is just moving around a column that hasn't got any of the transformations in place. So I'll just navigate with the dial and then choose what transformation I want. Okay, an L. Let's an L to a P, to an R. It'd make a lot more sense if I was actually doing this out through a full chord, actually having 4 outputs, pitch quantizing. In fact, I could set that up. Let's consider that now. Let's just keep making this column. Let's put a final transformation in. An N. Okay. So I suppose the point of these is like, rather than it as a sequencer, because it's just giving it a musical change, this is just looping around 4. But that doesn't mean when it gets back to the beginning, you will be on the same chord, because it will transform. Now, the idea being that the transformations have a certain musicality to them. Right, let me just set this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one voice at a time. I'm going to take it from there and put it into the here. Let's take B. I think what I'll do for now, though, as well, is I'm going to load in my my starting preset. Oh yeah. Let's just move this over to. Oops. Go. You have to remember the color sequence. There we go. That sounded a bit chaotic for a moment. So I'll put some pitch quantize on here now. So what's happening here is each one is being triggered by this LFO. I could change that by, and it'll play just chords. Here we go. We can hear these transformations in action now. And you can hear as they shift, the musicality shifts. Wagyu says it sounds like the new Teenage Engineering Wooden Doll Choir. Wagyu is also saying it'd be good to put it into the bias of the marbles. Is a great idea, and I have done that, yeah. So now, you can choose and you can modulate as well how that progresses, how this thing progresses across on each clock, how it progresses across here. We've got a load of transformations that we can do, but also we can change Like now, if I apply a little bit of sorry, it'll kind of weave around, and some have got no transformations on, some have. Excuse me, I will just zoom in a little bit here. Excuse the wobble camera. Okay. So you can see there's like a game of Snake going on. It's a really different way of sequencing, isn't it? I love how it's just getting higher and higher. I can change the octave here. Drop it down an octave. Oh yeah. So it's doing it in a minor way. Let's do it. Let's make it a bit more jolly. And I can slow the speed. At which it kind of moves across here. Okay. Oh, I got my right. Let's come back out. So a little look in this MFX, so you can see what's going on. Okay. Distortion. Here we go. Oh, sorry. I should have known that was coming. So here's that tilt filter in action. Let's leave it there. Soft. Okay, hang on to your hats, everyone. Overdrive. Let's get more. Let's bring that. Open up that filter. Turn the volume down. Type overdrive. Digital. Wavefold. Let's crank the drive up a bit. Let's go 100% wet. And then that tilt filter will be a bit more effective. I'm going to put some delay on here as well. Make it sound a bit softer. Ooh, I'll probably stop pretty soon. I've been on for ages, sorry. Hope you've been enjoying this. Dice Stanton's asking about another Mahavishnu fan. Yes, I am a Mahavishnu orchestra fan, I'll have you know. Dice Stanton, come on guys, has the MFX got a Leslie now more than ever? I don't think it has actually. It does have a modulating panner, which will probably get this part of the way. And this new multi-phaser that's new. And in the ensembles, no, I know there's no Let's try that modulating panner. Stereo. Oh, that slope is quite cool. Oh yeah, so you can make the slope go exponential, inverse exponential. Oh no, just the one way. Right, I've got a clock coming in, so mod clock external. Nice. So, alright, so our clocking is being governed by marbles now. I love these neo-Ramian transformations. I could make this all happier now with a more majory vibe. Just to buck the trend of minor key music. We were talking about that on Sonic State today. You see now, this little ditty that we just created here, if you can call it a ditty, is very much a modular kind of musical experience, really. I've never encountered anything quite like Marbles. Well, actually, the Ornaments and Crime certainly running this app, or whatever you call it, in Marbles and the spherical wavetable navigator. This is all of quite a, since I've been messing with Eurorack, which I documented on this channel from the beginning, I suppose for me, I've been trying to find a purpose in it all, or find some way to make some sort of music. But like this little thing here, it's not necessarily particularly special, but I really like it. That's good. Let's send our prism. Let's send we've got another output of the clock that we can send. So I'll clock the delay from our master clock as well. And we'll use another handy halo cable. They're really nice. I really like these. So yeah. Let's drop down an octave. 2 octaves. I think it's when the music, I like a certain amount of harmonic development, as most people do in music, but I do get bored of sequences quite quickly. So this transformations, this definitely gives an interesting musical all this panning going on. There's a filter on the pan. Let's put that in. Low pass filter. Oh yeah. Oh, let's modulate that then. Long press. Attenuate it. Just get it doing a little bit of action. That's a bit too much action. Oh, I see what I need to do. I need to offset it. And let's attenuate it even more, so it's just doing a tiny bit of filter movement. Yeah, really cool the way this works. Nick Batt was talking about Pamela's pro workouts today on Sonic Talk and was saying that it was a bit awkward to use, and I kind of disputed that. Because I find it actually quite nice. The screen is difficult to read on my Pamela's new workout, so that the new one is definitely quite appealing with that new screen. But this one, the screen is green on here rather than red, and I don't know if it's what they've done differently, but I really find this screen is very, very legible, even though it's very small. Anyway, I think I should probably go, really, because I've been yakking on for ages now. Thank you so much for joining me. And there's been a really healthy, fairly independent chat going on, which is always great. Thank you so much for joining me. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm sorry I can't be quite as involved in the chat as I'd like to be. Edna's Disco Machine is saying, actually like Pamela's new workout screen as it is. Okay, I think mine is dark. I do think mine is dimmer, and I think they're... Oh, Mr. Jervis there. Don't forget, Jason, Get Jervis has got he's just had a video premiere earlier this evening, which is a nice video, worth checking out, with a bit of his personal history in there. I know a lot about that because I've known him since I was 16 years old. We're very old buddies. Yeah. Yeah, so thanks again, everyone. Hope some of you can make it to the Sonic State event on Saturday in Bath. That's going to be really fun. The EOM, however you say it, electronic music, electronic music open mic, EMOM. And it's going to be streamed live as well, so that'll be Saturday evening from 6, I think, UK time. So it'd be fantastic. If you can't make it in person, please check in online, and because there's a lot of people from the community are going to be there. Dominic Hawking is actually going to be playing live, as is George Hearn from UDO Audio, and the maker of the very fine Super 6 behind me. Yeah, okay, so I'll just let this drift off, and yeah. Oh, thanks, Wagyu. Wagyu is sharing the details there in the live chat. Again, if you're watching this after the fact, don't forget to enable the live chat, because there is loads of cool stuff always gets discussed there. I have to watch this show back with the audio off just to get all the live chat. It's really nice. It's really nice to be part of a community, a very nice, supportive community. I'm very thankful for that. And I think we do have one of the greatest communities on the internet. I really do. I think people interested in electronic music, instruments, and the like. I think think you have to be reasonably intelligent, not massively intelligent, because I'm definitely not that. But, you know, you have to be reasonably intelligent to be able to, well, to be interested in it in the first place. And, you know, intelligent people generally get on quite well, I think. That's a contentious statement. But, you know, there may be a few little differences here and there, but we all love music and we all love making strange sounds. I know I do. I see, I love all of this now. So having like this kind of drone stuff, that those transformations are still just adjusting. Madcap Modular likes making strange sounds with your body parts. Yeah, I can make some pretty good sort of sounds with some of my body parts too. I'll have to tell you sometime about the fart challenge or the gauntlet, but that'll be for another time. Red Walk's saying it just needs a tad of Valhalla. Yeah, Valhalla. What an amazing reverb free. We talked about that on Sonic as well earlier. There's a new update for it, and that just increases that incredible. Rich Hilton said, I think it's the best bit of free music software out there. Valhalla Supermassive. You want to hear the fart challenge gauntlet? Oh, I'm tempted to tell you about it, but I tell you what, you're gonna have to keep tuned in. I'll tell you about it in a future episode. It's nice, this modulating panner, being able to have a, actually it's a resonant filter. I've just turned in some resonance up on it. Okay, all right, I better go, I'm having too much fun. Wagyu saying Valhalla Vintage Verb is definitely worth it for its lexicon style algorithms too. Okay, and with that, we drift off. Once more, I say thank you for joining me, Gaz Williams. Please consider subscribing if you don't already. It's always good. And of course, ring that stinking bell if you want to be notified about when I go out live. Sorry I haven't been able to be as regular. I'm not sure I can make it next week either. But thank you for joining me. I will endeavour to do more of these live streams. I really, really enjoy the company. And hopefully see some of you on Saturday, or certainly online. There we go. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. All right. And off we go. I can remember how to do it.